Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back down under the mat. We are here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy. To my left is Mr. Dan Danielson. I'm Rowdy Roddy Reece. We're here to talk all things wrestling. It's been a good week this week. We had the Netflix on Raw debut. Go check out our review of that in full. So we won't talk about that too much. We'll talk about the fallout of Netflix on Raw. But other than that, go check out the video, see our full thoughts on everything that happened. Roman regaining the Ufalafa. John Cena declaring himself for the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
CM Punk and Seth Rollins main event. What a match that was.
Terry Boo, Leah.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I did
Love it.
Not original. I definitely saw that somewhere else.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Speaking of Netflix, we'll kick it off with some stuff on that. In the fallout of Netflix on Raw, we had some good stats come out from Netflix on the numbers that Raw did in that first 24 hours. So
Yep.
I'll quickly touch on that. 4.9 million global views for Monday Night Raw in the first 24 hours.
It was number one on Netflix. So it was above
beat out
Squid Games.
Which is crazy because
Yep.
I've been on the Squid Games bandwagon.
I haven't started season 2 yet. No spoilers.
We finished season 2 and then we started the American challenge that they did, where they did an actual real life Squid Games, but they didn't off people. So
Not the Mr. Beast one.
no, I'm watching that too.
You're watching Beast Games too?
I'm watching Beast Games too. So we're right on that bandwagon. So yeah, 4.9 million global, knocking Squid Games off the top. 2.6 million households across the United States.
Yep.
Which is crazy because just the week prior on the USA Network, the final ever Raw did 1.5 million households.
So, I mean, that I think is the highest rated Raw in the last 5 years for that
crazy
number.
stats.
You're going to get arguments from people online about how these numbers and stuff come about, because I think what Netflix did was essentially how many global views, hours the show had, divided by the 3 hours of the showtime equals how many viewers it was.
Okay.
So that's kind of how they came to the number. Whereas when we used to talk about the US TV ratings with the Nielsen ratings, they used to have specific households would fill out a thing and did you watch this, etc. And then they'd extrapolate that across how many households had cable television, and then they'd work out a percentage of it. So both of them are variables, but this is definitely a really strong number. And you also have to take into fact that there are still markets across the world that don't have WWE and Netflix. So, and then big wrestling markets like Germany, France, Japan, and China, I think, are 4 of the bigger ones.
Okay.
Maybe India as well, don't have it on Netflix.
Yeah.
So
is that just due to prior
existing TV contracts? Yeah,
okay.
Correct. So once those contracts roll off and they go on to Netflix, the numbers will then keep going up, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's a huge number. It's a huge increase on what they've normally get for Raw. Is it first eyeballs for the first time they've seen it on Netflix and people, casual viewers watching? We'll find out.
Yeah.
But I think from a WWE and from a Netflix perspective, big win.
Yeah, absolutely. Big win. Coming out of that, we had NXT hit one of their highest ratings in a very, very long time. Goosebumps, mate. Old mate Rocky was on NXT.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yep. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson appeared NXT at the very end, cursing his head off, for one.
And the funny part is it's not on Netflix, it's on the CW.
Yeah.
He's still on TV, bro.
Yep. You still got to watch your language, right? So he came out. I thought it was very interesting that pretty much right off the bat, he addressed the past 24 hours of feedback from his appearance on Netflix on Raw. And the fact that he was all nice to Cody, congratulating him on keeping the company on his back, and then having tequila with Cody at the back as well. I felt very called out during that segment. I'm not gonna lie.
Mate, it was a call out to literally every streamer and every wrestling content creator that were crapping on his segment on Netflix. Being like, this isn't what we want, the final boss. This is just The Rock being corporate Rock. And then he's like, nah, just stay with me. It's all right. Trust what The Rock does. No.
He's
bro.
20 steps ahead.
He's not. He's absolutely backtracking. This is exactly what he did last year when he was like, everyone wants me and Roman to main event. And then the entire wrestling community was like, no, we kind of want Cody Rhodes, man.
Yep.
So he changed his mind. This promo was him changing his mind again.
Yep. it's going to be interesting to see if anything actually does come of that, just like the bad blood, 1, 2, 3 thing.
Well, even I mean, I think we'll talk about this a bit later on too. But the Seth Rollins interview with CVV,
Yeah.
where he was talking about last year's road to WrestleMania, and then CVV asked him like, "What's the plan to be Punk versus Rollins at WrestleMania if Punk didn't get injured?"
Yeah.
And Seth kind of said like, "Yes, that was what the plan was going to be. We weren't too sure how we got there, blah blah blah." But then things changed, and I don't think, and I think his words were, "I don't think The Rock realized how much he changed everything when he kept like fiddling around with plans, how much that impacted everything else." And I think that maybe we're seeing the same thing here in that the opposite side of what happened last year, right? Where last year we had a plan without The Rock. We didn't want him. We wanted Roman and Cody.
Yeah.
And then Rock's like, no, you want me. And we were like, no, we don't. But then he put himself in and we got what we wanted. And I mean, at the end of the day, great WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, we're like, no, we want The Rock now.
Yeah.
We want The Rock and Cody. We want The Rock and Roman. We want him to be involved in WrestleMania. And he's like, no, not this year, guys.
Yeah.
I got to do reshoots for Moana 2
What a turn of events, eh?
But it's always around The Rock.
Yeah.
And
he created wrestling.
He did.
If you haven't seen those memes, you need to get caught up. Rock being on NXT was great. NXT in general was a pretty good episode this week.
The rub that he gave to Ethan Page.
Oh, I was so pumped for that, dude. Because I was thinking about it while I was watching. I was like, somebody's got to like interrupt The Rock, or someone's got to have a face-to-face with The Rock, or something's got to happen on it. Ethan Page was the first person that came to mind.
Yeah.
So them having that backstage segment together with Ava there, I was just like, yep, that's all he needed.
Put over your 2024
best talent,
non-wrestling talent was Ava. So go watch our 2024 video for that.
The NXT final boss.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves, all right? She's just the general manager. She's not the final boss.
I got it. I get it.
I see what
he's
you're
the
trying
final
to do.
boss, and he's like, if I'm the final boss, she's the final boss here. I was like, I got it. It would have been really good for them to have an on-screen moment, like
between him and his
father and daughter on screen for the first time ever on NXT. I can't remember what the ratings were. I think it was
960 or something.
It was close to 1 million, which is. When's the last time Rock was on a show with less than 1 million?
That's the same argument I had with Cena and the Undertaker last year. Shut up, Tony Khan.
Well,
it was so Dynamite doing 600,000 like a loser over there. Sorry.
NXT, we crowned 2 brand new champions.
Yes.
Open the show with Roxanne versus Julia.
Great match.
Fantastic match. Great way to kick off the show. Julia is your brand new women's NXT champion.
Now, if you haven't watched our 2025 predictions video, our boy Reece over here.
I called this.
No, not specifically. Did you call it? No, you said she would drop the title and then win the Royal Rumble.
I said at New Year's Eve she dropped the title.
Yeah, okay. So he did call this. So get on board Reese's bandwagon here. Roxanne dropping the title to Julia.
Yep.
And now we'll show up in the Women's Royal Rumble and win it and then lose to Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania or something. But that's not the good part of the story. Your part of the story is the Rumble part.
Yeah. WWE love their first time ever. And for a main roster debutante to win the Royal Rumble, I feel like that'd be a really cool achievement.
Well, I reckon you got two shots at it. You got Roxanne if she's in it, and you've got Jordan Grace.
The Rumble's going to be so stacked this year. There's so many different theories going around about who's going to be at WrestleMania. You got Charlotte versus Tiffy is wanted by the fans. Well, most of the fans. Some of them just don't want Charlotte back at all.
No, I want it.
People want Io versus Rhea. Apparently Becky is going to be heavily factored into WrestleMania feuds.
Well, there was also
who knows what's going to happen with her when she comes back. I assume she'll come back in the Rumble.
There was all the talk that she was supposed to come back at the Netflix show, and then it was the
replaced by the Undertaker.
I don't see that.
I then saw reports mere days after everyone was talking about that was the fact that she technically hadn't re-signed until after that Raw.
Well, and that she also wasn't ever planned for that spot. It was never going to be her. And even
dirt sheets, man.
Even what's Roland said on that CVV interview is that people are like, oh, she's just taken time off. She hasn't. She's been she put out a thing on her Instagram that she's in Happy Gilmore 2.
Yeah.
Which he could say.
That CVV was obviously done just before that announcement.
Yeah, because he couldn't say what movie it was.
Couldn't talk about it. I was like, that's the
But yeah, she's been doing movies and stuff. I mean, that's what a lot of these wrestlers do now when they're not off injured. They're off doing other projects and different things or having kids and stuff. She's done her time having a kid.
Yep.
She's now done her time doing movies. She'll come back. And yeah, to me, if you had her just pop up at that Netflix spot and just face to face with Rhea,
yeah,
I don't think I would have cared for it because that almost already
guarantees-
pre-shadows your WrestleMania match.
Yeah, which would have been her winning the Rumble most
Correct.
likely because she won Chamber last year.
Yes.
So I don't think they do the double
Yeah,
Chamber win.
exactly. So yeah, I think it was better with the Taker spot.
Yeah, definitely better. Again, another new champion on NXT, Obafemi.
So
the ruler.
the ruler of the NXTs. I did see the part of this with how he took out Eddie Thorpe, and then Ava was like, "Oh, I don't trust Eddie
I
Thorpe."
don't trust
And
you, Eddie.
Ava was like, "No, it was me. I did it."
I love that because she was just like, no, Eddie's just doing his usual thing. He did it the other week. I don't care about it. He's just faking. And then Oba walks in. He's like, I took out Eddie.
Yeah. I don't want it to be a 3-person match. I want it to be a 2-person match.
Yep.
Which
Which
nearly
it
got his
was for like 90% of the match. And then Eddie Thorpe, they cut to a backstage little snippet of Eddie walking out with the steel chair. That came into play as he got out into the ring. A whole kerfuffle happened. Trick hit the trick shot. And I'm pretty sure Oba kicked out of it, which I thought was absolutely ridiculous. Oba hits his power bomb. 1, 2, 3, boom. Heads up the ramp, and you get that lovely shot of both Oba and Julia standing on the stage, confetti everywhere. That would have been a great closing to NXT, but The Rock came after.
Shucky ducky quack quack. With that mate Corey Graves now on NXT.
Yeah, Corey Graves doing commentary on NXT, which is I hope it just becomes Vic Joseph and Corey Graves.
So
I'm sick of Booker.
I have heard that Booker is obviously he's got his
reality of
wrestling. It's a ring of wrestling. Reality of wrestling.
Ring of wrestling.
And he was going to wrestle somebody on one of their shows in January.
Right.
So
okay.
he was getting ring
this.
fit to do a match with someone. I can't remember. Maybe it was their champion or somebody in the ring of wrestling or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that if he's getting ring fit for a match for that, I wouldn't be surprised if he's getting ring fit for maybe a spot in a Rumble. And maybe you give him, if you want, you maybe give him a Trick match at WrestleMania. Something that like Trick can get, or Trick and Carmelo and Booker, in that you give them a bit of an extra spice to the match. You're getting a veteran in there with the two younger guys that he will obviously put one of them over, you assume. And maybe you give Booker T a nice little farewell at WrestleMania. Okay. But that would be fine for me to see him then leave commentary.
Yeah.
And go back to maybe not a full on-screen character and stuff, but like do a match here or there if he wants to, go back to his local company and maybe even just go back into producing and managing NXT from behind. Because like I can't sit through a full NXT episode without muting it with him on there.
It's really rough.
It's getting too bad. And now that you've got Pat and Cole on Raw and you've got
Joe and Wade
on SmackDown, you can have Corey and Vic on NXT, and I think you could. If you want to use Booker like AEW kind of use JR and then he comes in for main event matches or something, sure, I can deal with a match.
Exactly what I was thinking
of Booker. I just 2 hours of him every week. Whew.
2 hours every week, 3 hours additionally when there's a pay-per-view.
No bread, no more, just me.
That's got to be one of his best things that he does. But he does it almost too often.
Oh, yeah. Same as Shucky Ducky Quack Quack. And same as the trick entrance. Like he goes too overboard on the trick entrance now.
Yeah. At one point, Trick wanted to put that just in the song.
Nah.
Thank God
Trick,
that
you
didn't
idiot.
happen.
Don't do it.
Jesus.
Def Rebel's bad enough. Don't do it yourself.
So those 2 NXT champions that we had, that makes 4 newly crowned champions in WWE within the span of 5 days.
It does?
It does. Because we had Tiffany Stratton on SmackDown.
Oh, yeah, Tiffy time.
We had Tiffy time last week. Then Rhea on the Netflix on Raw debut. And then 2 title changes on NXT. That's crazy.
Okay. I mean, you can clearly tell that this is the start of a new year and this is the road to WrestleMania now.
Yeah.
Like, hi, we're resetting things. Let's go.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see if the same thing happens with the Women's North American Championship on NXT as well. So we had Stephanie become number 1 contender, but then mere minutes later in the 6-woman tag match, Shotzi pins Fallon Henley and then interrupts Ava and Stephanie backstage and says, well, I pinned the champion. I should be number 1 contender. So now Stephanie has to fight in another number 1 contender match?
No one cares, Shotzi.
What the dumbest booking decision I've seen. I literally sat at my work desk because I had it on as I was doing some work in the office. And I sat there and I was just like, what the fuck? Like, why? That's a dumb decision.
Then he remembered he didn't know how to do his job and he was like, oh, what the hell?
Oh, what do I do?
I better watch NXT.
Just tack a bunch of keys on the keyboard. Oh, man.
What about the rest of the we've touched on all the NXT stuff and The Rock.
Yeah.
What about the rest of the outbursts post Raw on Netflix of all the Hogan stuff
Oh,
and how well that has gone down or not gone down from a WWE perspective?
yeah, they're rumored to be turning him heel at his next appearance.
Look,
So
I sent
I'd
you.
expect NWO, black and white, Hulk
I
Hogan,
sent you that
Hollywood
meme.
Hogan coming out.
Can you imagine the next level of the NWO is Hulk Hogan, Logan Paul, Dominic Mysterio, biggest heels in the company.
Terrible.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
Look, it went really poorly. Obviously, it was only there because like if you actually go back and pay attention to Saturday Night's Main Event, they essentially scrubbed Hogan from all their videos.
Oh,
So if you watch all of the pre-show stuff for
did
Saturday
not
Night's Main
notice that.
Event, there is no Hulk Hogan there because they knew that he doesn't gel with the current audience the way that he used to, right?
Yeah.
And that's really difficult to do considering Hogan was in all of their main events in like the 80s and 90s. Like he was all Hulk Hogan. So he was taken out of that video. Then WWE decided to set up a partnership with Real American Beer and buy a partial stake in that company. And then all of a sudden, like, well, now we've got to get Hogan out there to promote it.
As you said in the Netflix review that we did, he should have just been in the crowd as one of the celebrities. You cut to him, he shows his shirt, he rips it off, Raw on Netflix. That's it. You didn't need
Don't let him talk.
Come out, cut a promo about tag teams, brother, and Netflix is our tag team partner now, brother. Blah, blah. Just make a better decision.
It wasn't. Yeah, I don't think that. I think he'll obviously be around for Saturday Night's Main Event in Texas, but I feel like they're going to pre-film some form of vignette for him. If that's the case, because he can't get booed for that.
I mean, he still can. They'll show the vignette, and the crowd will boo.
Yeah, but it's not going to derail it because it's going to be
not going to derail it, which is unfortunate. Before we move on to SmackDown and some other news topics, we will quickly cut and talk about some AEW news that happened this week.
Yes.
Specifically, the Will Ospreay and Buddy Matthews match.
We will.
Which I have not actually been blessed to watch yet, but I've heard immensely good things
about this
match.
It was very good. I mean, look, Will Ospreay is really, really good at having an opening match and killing it. Yeah. This one with Buddy was great. Like they told the story that he'd beaten Brody in the Continental Classic. He obviously beat, I don't know if he versed Malakai before that with the handshake stuff. No, that was Adam Cole that was doing that stuff with the House of Black. Really great match. Some really fantastic spots in it. The guys are just so athletic, the two of them. Buddy is a brilliant wrestler when you give him time and you give him space, and he took it. The key point to this match, though, was the post-match promo from Ospreay saying, you know, he got Buddy up, shook his hand, said, "Look, mate, you're so good. You don't need to follow anybody. You and Brody, you can go for tag titles. You can go for solos titles if you want to. And if you ever need help from anyone else, bruv, I'm here for you." And shakes his hand. Very subtle way of saying, Malakai Black's not coming back anymore, guys.
Yeah,
it's just you and Brody.
That is the big news piece that's been going around the media world this week. Is Malakai Black no longer not? I've read conflicting reports because people have said that his contract is ending and done by the end of the month. I've heard other reports saying it's not done until like end of February. March,
I've heard the
time frame.
March. Yeah.
So I'd say that's probably a safer bet. I was sneakily hoping for a surprise Rumble return, but I don't think that's going to happen with the news that's going around. But
hope so.
He's apparently done with his AEW contract, and he's going to take some time.
Well, he also did an independent wrestling thing on the weekend. Yeah. First time he's done an independent show in a very long time, and he was out doing a show. I think so did Daniel Garcia. He was doing an indie show as well on the weekend, which, I mean, that doesn't help one way or the other for the contracting because, you know, Garcia is definitely with AEW and he's allowed to do.
He's the champion right now.
He's allowed to do indie shows, and Malakai's off doing an indie show, but he might be leaving the company. So it's not really a give one way or the other. But a lot of the talk is that, Malakai is not going to show up on TV again. House of Black is done. I think someone even interviewed Julia Hart, and she said that.
Yeah, I saw that throughout the week as well.
That the House of Black will be fine. Yeah. I'll be good. Brody will be good. Buddy will be good. We'll survive.
Yeah, they'll get.
And I think they will. I mean, I know it's literally named after Malakai Black, but I mean, I'm pretty sure the others, they're all super talented. I'd love to see Buddy and Brody go for the tag titles.
Oh, absolutely.
Because that AEW tag title scene sucks right now.
Yeah.
There's Private Party had a horrible celebration segment, and then the Hurt Syndicate came out and just said that we're going to beat you up.
We're gonna hurt people.
And then Bobby made
Big Bob.
Mark Briscoe tap out to the Hurt Lock, and then the pretty deadly. That's how much I think of them. Seriously. One of their names, Private Party, came out and stopped it. Like, I just don't care. I do not care about Private Party at all.
Yeah, that tag team scene at the moment's not good.
It's not. And, you know, the trio scene is also not good because it's held up in the D-Riders. That they're like this is what WWE did with the Judgment Day, right? Is that you put the titles on the faction that's doing a big storyline, the titles disappear.
Yeah, those trios championships have done nothing for like at least 4 months.
Yep.
Plus.
And so that's probably one of the things AW needs
since
to look at.
All in London.
When they won them.
That's when they won them. And nothing has happened since.
Yep.
What? Why? Jesus.
Yeah, no, I can't answer that. And tag team's the same. But yeah, the important stuff out of Dynamite was that. And then obviously the real kicker to Dynamite was that we finally got Kenny Omega back in an AEW ring. He cut a really good promo that, you know, he wants to give back to the fans and he wants to give back to wrestling, and that's why he did it in Japan. And he's so keen to get back here.
Yeah.
Then he got attacked by Don Callis' family. But the key point to this, though, but the interesting change to this was as soon as Don Callis' music hits, Callis walks out, and rather than waiting for Callis to come to him, Kenny Omega rushed Callis, just beat him up on the ramp. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Suck it, Don Callis. And then Brian Cage and Lance Archer, and that came out. So now next week, and I saw this on Instagram because we follow Brian Cage because we met him last year at World Series of Wrestling. He is super keen. He's been waiting 20 years or so for a match with Kenny Omega. And he even said the reason he joined AEW in the first place
was to get that match.
To wrestle with Kenny Omega.
It's finally happening.
And now he's getting it next week. So that's going to be so good for him.
Yeah, can't wait. I'm going to make sure I tune into AEW next week.
I mean, I went and watched the highlights for New Japan for Wrestle Dynasty and that on the weekend. The Kenny Omega and Gabe Kidd match is phenomenal. Absolutely. Like, it took... I can't remember the guy's name. I'm so bad with all the owner of New Japan, Tanahashi.
Yeah, Tanahashi.
He was on commentary. He was brought to tears at the end of it, of how good the match was.
Yeah.
It was great. And I think the main thing for me to watch it was so great to see Kenny back as Kenny Omega. It wasn't a half. I mean, maybe he probably held back on some of the moves that but like he still hit One Winged Angel. He still hit heaps of knees. He still went through tables. He still was jumping in and out of the ring. Kenny is properly back, which is so good to see. And I'm really keen to see that match with Brian Cage next week on Dynamite.
Yeah.
But before we move quickly off New Japan stuff, I just want to also give a massive shout out to our boy Robbie Eagles from TMDK. Now,
Junior IWGP Tag Team Champion.
And look, Robbie, I know you watch our podcasts. The fact that you were at Mounties on like the 28th, then in New Japan on the weekend, then back for PWA in the 11th. You're an absolute weapon. You're a weapon. Traveling to and from Japan through Christmas and New Year's and stuff and doing all these sort of shows. That's why you're the soul of PWA, champ. Well done.
And that's why you got those championships.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Next story. What are we doing?
We talk about Malakai Black finishing up with AEW.
Yes.
Other contract talks have been going around this week.
Oh, yeah, you sent me this one. Yes.
Speedball Mike Bailey is apparently confirmed. I'll put air quotes around that. Confirmed by Triple H that he has signed with WWE.
Well, literally, the WWE Speed title is in his name.
It's right there. Right there. Put him on NXT, give him that title. He can get exposure to how the main roster crowds are and how that schedule works while he's doing the transition.
I know you're being serious, but Speedball is way better than NXT. He'll probably end up there. It's fine.
Yeah. That's where everyone goes. Almost people.
I'm super keen to see wherever Speedball goes.
Oh, absolutely.
I think we had this same conversation when Ricochet went to AEW, was that he would have a couple of banger matches and then disappear into the mid card. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not wrong there, but that's kind of what happened with Ricochet.
Yep.
Hopefully the stuff with Swerve and him being a bit of a heel is maybe changing that up now. But that first sort of 6 to 8 months of Ricochet, a couple of great spots and then not much. And I feel like Speedball would be the same. He'd come in, he'd put on a banger 5-star match with Fletcher. Yeah. He'd put on a 5-star match with Ospreay. And then he's entrant number 8 in the Casino Royale for a TNT title in 7 months' time.
Yeah. That's really going to be interesting to see one, if that report is true.
Yep.
And then what WWE does with Speedball.
And we said this, I think, on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, is I'm very interested now to see what happens with TNA and how much that doesn't fold, because
Yeah. They're
losing
losing a lot of like key talent.
Speedball, losing Josh Alexander, losing Jordan Grace. That's a lot of their top tier talent. And
But
we
they've
all,
got Tessa Blanchard back.
I mean, we're talking about in-ring talent, sorry, but also what those people do in the back and for the locker room is quite high, because they're all experienced vets. And someone like Tessa Blanchard is not. Like, she's not well liked.
She's experienced, but yeah, she's not well liked.
She's not a locker room leader.
I actually saw something interesting. Booker T came out to advocate for Tessa Blanchard.
Of course he did.
Which I thought was really odd, considering she had racial allegations against her previously, and he essentially just said, maybe it was Mark Henry, one of the two, said if people have come out, made an apology, and have put in the work to try and change, then we should just like give people a second chance.
Maybe that's Mark Henry, because he had that story where he gave Hogan a chance when Hogan did all the racist stuff in 2015 or whatever. Mark said, hey, how about I take you around to all the wrestling colleges and stuff, where all the black students and stuff are, and you can tell them your side of the story, things that happen. And Hogan's like, no thanks, brother. And Mark's like, well, fuck you then. I tried. All right,
tried.
You gave it a shot. I tried.
Let's touch on SmackDown and then cover a couple other news points. Honestly, it was a pretty average SmackDown. We had Paul Heyman start the show, which was a really nice touch.
Because Roman Reigns doesn't show up for TV anymore.
Correct. Because that's Roman Reigns. He has declared Roman Reigns is competing in the Royal Rumble. So we now have John Cena and Roman Reigns as confirmed entrants
and
in
CM
the
Punk.
Royal Rumble. You sure?
CM Punk.
Because the graphic on SmackDown just had Roman and John.
Wasn't when Punk left after Raw on Netflix, when he was walking to the back and he was talking to Kathy Kelly or whatever. He was saying,
post-show.
Yes,
it's not
correct.
canon yet.
It's not canon. But he said that I'm coming for all the titles, and if it's through, whatever I have to do, I'm going to win it.
Yeah.
So
he'll absolutely be in it.
I think we probably need to do a Royal Rumble prediction show maybe next week or so, once we get a bit of an idea beforehand.
Definitely.
Because obviously you're getting married very inconveniently the day before Royal Rumble.
It's not my problem.
Well, it is.
It's WWE's problem for choosing that day. We had this locked in over a year ago.
Sure, they probably did too.
Fuck.
But maybe we need to look at doing some, maybe picking all 30 entrants or something like that. Because I think the men's one's probably...
It's a lot of mental effort, man.
Yeah, for sure. The men's one's probably a bit easier.
I'll let you do 20, and then I'll do 10.
What if it's the same 10?
We'll have to.
We'll do this together.
We'll do it together, and then we'll pick the order. We'll do.
Kofi Kingston will be in the Royal Rumble.
Ilya Dragunov will return in the Royal Rumble.
Cedric Alexander will not be in the Royal Rumble.
Chad Gable will be in the Rumble.
Damian Priest will be in the Royal Rumble.
Penta El Zero Miedo.
Shinsuke will probably be in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Right. Of all the cards I can see here, the one I think is the funniest will be if Road Dogg's in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, Road Dogg, but not X-Pac. Just to piss Ted off.
Just annoy Ted.
Just to
Sorry,
piss
Ted.
off. So we had after
Heyman was there, Cody comes out, then
Cody
KO comes and
Thank
says,
mental blank.
Our boy KO comes out.
Our boy
Says, look, Cody,
Kevin is
bad
right.
enough that you sided with Roman Reigns in Bad Blood and you're in War Games and stuff with him. That sucks. But now you're coming out here and you're shaking hands with Paul Heyman as well.
You're helping Roman get the Ulafala back.
And you're helping get his Ulafala back. Now you're going to help him get his title back, and you give him everything that you fought so hard to get rid of. You're going to give it all back to him.
Kevin is right.
Kevin is right.
It says it right there on
the shirt. On his shirt.
Right there on the shirt. That's our little editing spot.
Yeah, so Luke can edit that in there. Look, great promo from KO again.
He's doing fantastic work lately.
And we've said this for ages, is that the reason that these sort of promos and this sort of feud is so good is because it's based in reality, and it's not heels being heels for the sake of being a heel. It's a heel that's right.
Mm-hmm.
And they're justified in what they're saying. Sure, they're doing the wrong things in terms of stopping matches and
blow those
popping
lines,
in and hitting stunners on Roman Reigns during a Netflix thing and things like things they maybe shouldn't be doing.
Such a good pop.
But he's right. KO's right.
That's all we can say about that. We had Chelsea Green retaining her Women's United States Championship in a match against Michin.
The only two things I want to talk about that match, because the match was fine. Who
Yeah,
cares?
it was okay.
Chelsea won. Chelsea's US title gear, superb. The fact that she's dressed like the US title.
Yeah.
And why did Seth Rollins let Piper even wear his suit and jacket?
Did you notice that she had the earpiece? Like
Yes, like some Secret Service.
security guard.
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely love that.
Look,
touch.
I like that touch, but yeah, like, why was she wearing Seth's sparkly jacket?
Don't know.
Okay.
I think she pulls it off better.
It's not hard.
Yeah, not hard. Touching on Seth Rollins and his wardrobe, the CVV interview that happened got released early this week. The fact that he has openly stated that Seth Rollins, the character, has a wardrobe that's like 2 times the size of his actual wardrobe.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's secluded. It's in the garage.
Yep.
Crazy.
And he even said that like half the times he has to get them and sends them back to the archives so they can put them on statues. So when you go to like a house show or
now that we've
WrestleMania
got
and stuff.
the Tops cards coming back, I'm sure he can donate some of those pieces of gear. I think he did say
He did
that
say he does it, yeah.
he's donated
Those
some of the
Tops cards, man, they're so quick because like they released within a day the Roman and Rock
That's
shaking
crazy,
hands
dude.
with them signing the card, and it was bang, it was already online.
It's what we're gonna get. But it's a very rough business. Thank God I'm not a card collector because it's you buy. Okay, they're fine.
Says the cards.
Says the table. They're fine, but it's like trying to go for like a 1 in 1,000 chance where you go online, you buy 1, 5, 10, 20, 50 cards or whatever.
Mhm.
If I go there and I spend like $400 on 50 cards to try and get a signed one and I don't get it, I'd be pissed.
So we have a friend of ours. I'll chuck the link in the description. Shout out to Tommo and Kyle over at Stomp Trading Cards.
Yeah.
They do breaks for WWE boxes. I've been in a couple and I've gotten some good cards. Once I get them delivered, I'll show them on the podcast for us. I'll give you guys a cheeky peek. Got myself a nice Andrade signed card the other day. That was good.
Yeah.
But on
Good effort.
the break they had the other night, they're now opening the National Treasures cards, which is 10 cards in a box. And I think 7 assigned, something along those lines.
Oh,
like
nice.
it's much higher chances of getting
Yeah.
an auto. They pulled the other night. I'll see if I can get a photo of it up to put in here. It was a 1 of 1 signed Kit Wilson.
Oh, nice. I have a signed Kit Wilson.
You don't have a 1 of 1.
No, I don't have a 1 of 1, but I have a signed Kit Wilson.
Yeah. So if you are interested in the card game, WWE cards, let us know.
We'll
And
hook you
go have a look at Stomp Trading Cards and tell them that the Down on the Boys Matt sent you.
Down under the boys.
Down on the Matt boys. Did I say Down on the Boys Matt?
Yep.
Mate,
Down under the boys.
we
mate.
had your Bucks party yesterday. I had a fair
I'm pretty tired. I
I'm a-
think I held up pretty well this morning, but
Can we put the
pretty
photo of
tired.
you on the Bucks?
Look, you can. It can be edited in right there. That's me. I had a lovely wrestling outfit. Those elbow pads were.
Itchy as. I tried to wear them at the end of the
Right,
night. They were
right.
itchy.
I think I got through about maybe an hour and a half of wearing them, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing this.
They were very, very itchy, those were.
But yeah, it's good times last night, but feeling a little rough today.
Yeah, we're getting
A
through
little
them.
rough. But back onto the topic of SmackDown, we had a brand new number 1 contender announced. Not announced. They won a match. Bailey will be facing Tiffany Stratton at, I assume, either the Rumble or Saturday night's main event. One of the two. It has not been confirmed.
Chuck her
yet.
at the Rumble, and they didn't keep Bailey out of the Royal Rumble because she won it last year.
Correct. I think that's
Makes
a good
sense.
option. And then Bailey can be in the chamber.
Yeah, and then lose there too.
Yeah.
Like, I love Bailey, and like I said this last year, that I think that she was one of the most improved in terms of overall characters and locker room leader things. I don't think she needs to be in the title. She can be in the title scene. She doesn't need the title.
Go feud with Chelsea.
That'd be interesting. Yeah. Until Charlotte comes back
Again,
and she feuds with
Triple
Chelsea.
H, just
Let us know.
Slide in the
Let us
DMs.
know.
Front row tickets.
You can
front
just
row.
watch our TikToks. We're giving ideas down there. So
Yeah.
a lot of people like my idea of John Cena winning Money in the Bank and cashing in. So sign up for that one.
Sign up.
And while you're doing it, like, subscribe, comment, all that
Yes.
sort of other fun stuff for us. We love when you guys do that.
Absolutely. I thought that Fatal 4-Way was actually a very good match. We had Naomi, Bianca, Nia, and Bailey in that. Nia cut a hell of a promo. Before.
Considering you don't like 3 of the 4 wrestlers.
Yeah, I tried to pay more attention. I'm giving them a chance. I need to give Naomi more credit.
Yep.
She is good. I just don't like the character. I don't feel the glow, man.
So hang on. I'll pull back kayfabe here for a smidge. I didn't actually watch SmackDown because I was too busy drinking in his Bucks yesterday. So I only watched like an 18-minute, the WWE's Here's What Happened on SmackDown video. Didn't you tell me there was tag matches with Pretty Deadly and...
Did they not cover it in the
I didn't see
highlights?
shit on those videos, man.
Man.
Nothing from those two tag matches.
To be fair, nothing has come of that just yet. The Nick Aldis, because everyone was arguing about going for the titles.
I didn't see
Nick
any of
Aldis
that.
was like, here, Pretty Deadly versus Los Garza, A-Town Down Under versus MCMG. Go have your tag matches, and then we can figure out who's fighting for titles later. But nothing's happened yet.
None of it was on the WWE video.
They were okay matches. Nothing to like write home about.
Okay.
Nothing to...
Because it just clicked to me then when you were telling me about all these matches and things, and I was like, hang on, I didn't see anything about those tag talks.
Yeah, they're okay. They're okay.
Okay.
But yeah, great match from the 4 women. Bailey comes out on top.
Rose Plant is as bad a finisher as the BFT is.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You're now on my side with the BFT side?
It needs to be sold well. When the BFT is sold well, it looks amazing.
Did Shinsuke sold it, right?
Yeah, but like it's like when you get Carmelo doing it and spiking,
like flipping.
Spiking for any sort of finisher like that just elevates it. But because it's not done a consistent basis with the
elevate me to the sky. Whoa.
Will Ospreay.
It took you that long to get it? You suck, man.
Well, I don't want to talk about it.
Whoa.
I'm gonna move on.
Good.
Main event,
Good
SmackDown.
choice.
Cody teaming with Jimmy Uso against the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga. Good match. Bloodline comes out on top because KO comes out, distracts Cody. Cody runs out the back, takes him out. Then they brawl after the match and go through a table.
Mm-hmm. And they
That's
make Jacob Fatu look as strong as he should.
Yeah, he looked like a monster. And I noticed that when he came out earlier in the night to confront Cody, he was like, there was just a look in his eyes.
And
he looked like he was a man on a mission.
When they took out LA Knight earlier in the night and they had Tama Tonga shove him into Jacob for the pop-up Samoan, he does it so well. Like,
give him the tag titles back, man.
I would not be against it. If it was Jacob and Tama Tonga,
yeah,
I would not be against it.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Couple of newsworthy points we'll touch on before we wrap things up.
Sure.
Royal Rumble has been confirmed to be in Saudi Arabia next year, so it looks like we are getting a Power Rangers Women's Royal Rumble. That's the meme going around at the moment, and it's not wrong, unfortunately.
Well, we can now pretty much then also say that CM Punk will not be in the 2026 Royal Rumble.
Yes, we can comfortably say that. So
he will never do a Saudi show.
Nope.
Although he did say he was going back to make money, not friends. You get a fair amount of money to do a Saudi show.
Yeah, I think he's pretty...
I think his morals are above that.
Yeah, his morals are in line with where he needs to be.
Look, it's fine. If you want to do a Saudi show, they're going to spend big money on it. I get it from a business perspective. I think it will cause a detriment to having all of the women.
Yeah.
Having 30 women all in the full body suits. It's okay when they're... I mean, the last show for the Queen of the Ring or whatever, there was like 16 women.
16 women. We've now got confirmed at least, I'd say, 32 with refs and backstage correspondents included.
Like that, but that's a lot of extra women with a lot of extra material on all their things and hopefully how it fits. So.
It's at that air-conditioned stadium.
Yeah, well,
but still, it's going to be uncomfortable for the ladies to wrestle.
Yeah, because it's winter for them though. They're in the northern hemisphere.
The desert.
Yeah, I'm sure their winter's not. It's not snowing. But hopefully it's cool. But yeah, look, from a WWE business perspective, sure, I get it. I understand why you take the shows to Saudi.
Yeah.
I'd prefer not to take the big four shows if we could avoid it.
Well, like that was the funny thing. Like last year, we heard reports that none of the big four were going to be leaving like that North American area, and then this happens. They must have thrown a shit ton of money at WWE to get that over there.
They've been asking for WrestleMania for a long time, and that one hopefully never leaves.
Yeah,
that one has got to be a
like. Look how much hard work it's been attempting to get a WrestleMania in the UK, which would go absolutely bananas.
Yeah,
and it has not happened yet.
Yep, agree. But yeah, look, it's fine. Business decision's fine. Limits some of the people that'll be in the Rumbles. It makes the more difficult for the women, but I think they'll book around it.
Yeah, we'll get around it. Odyssey Jones has come out.
Yeah, I didn't know
Uh,
this one. This
it,
is your story to tell.
yep, in regards to the domestic violence allegations that cost him his job with the WWE. He's finally come out. I'll read a couple of statements that he released from the video. Bear with me while I get my phone working. All right. So we've got here. My name is Amari Palmer, aka Odyssey Jones. First and foremost, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior. Sorry, I'm not a religious man, so this feels really weird saying this stuff out loud. For me, giving the strength to get through these difficult times, as always, all glory to God. Secondly, I would like to say Happy New Year and I wish you all a great and safe 2025. I'm making this video to address the false allegations. These false claims are coming from a party that I had prior engagement with, and I apologize for taking so long to address these false claims. But I had to patiently wait to get an injunction set in place to protect my family, my friends, and myself. I'm currently taking legal action against said party, so I can't speak too much more on it, but there will be more confirmation to come. With that being said, I would like to thank WWE for the amazing opportunity that they've given me in my life. Thank you so much for bringing me on. I'd like to thank all the coaches that I've worked with over the years for helping me work on my craft, putting me in a position for success, as well as thank you for the fans for the support you've given me, not only today, but all the way back in day one. That being said, my journey continues and I'll be open for bookings in 2025.
Not with WWE, obviously.
No, obviously.
Look, I mean,
It's always a really touchy
yeah.
subject discussing when there's been domestic violence allegations, and the fact that he's got an injunction done and he's going to be taking them to court.
I think it's
Generally,
just-
like if you're in the wrong, like yeah, you'll take him to court, or you'll get taken to court and you'll defend yourself. But the
Mhm.
fact that he's going to be taking them to court makes me think that maybe they are just false claims. I'm not going to completely side with Odyssey.
I wouldn't touch
but-
with a temple pole.
Yeah.
Look, hopefully he's happy mentally. Hopefully he's getting
Yeah.
the support that he needs, and it all gets sorted out. And maybe he does get back in the wrestling ring at some point. But yeah, like you said, any of this domestic violence, family stuff, doesn't matter who it is, what company it's with, and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of the thing that it's very personal. You just step back and let it be.
Yeah.
So good for him that he's put the statement out so that people can stop sort of asking around it.
Yeah.
Give him the time and the support he wants. And maybe he shows up in somewhere in independent shows towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
We'll see what happens. I mean, Patrick Clark just made his return like last year, so
Yep, true.
maybe hopefully it's not going to be that long for
It's the
Odyssey Jones,
Velveteen
'cause there's-
Dream for those that don't know who he actually is.
Yeah. So hopefully it doesn't take that long for Odyssey Jones to get back into the ring, because there's definitely good potential there. But yeah, it's good that the statement's coming out, but wait to see how it unfolds first before making a proper comment.
The other news story we need to touch on,
Vinnie Mac.
the other statement that's come out is Vince McMahon. So at least a portion of the court cases now against Vince have been settled. The SEC have big burnout down my street. That's fun. Someone else was last week, champ. Go away. Vince McMahon. So the SEC released a statement about Vince, just saying that they essentially have closed all of the case against him and what he did. So there was obviously undisclosed payments to certain people from Vince McMahon that WWE were not aware of. One of those is supposed to be Janelle Grant. And those being unsolicited and unsanctioned payments from Vince were not then told by WWE at the end of the year financials and their taxes and things like that. And so that's why when this was found out, there was a court case put against WWE, because essentially they'd falsified their earnings and ratings for 2019 and 2021, because it should have been a few $1 million less than they made, because Vince had made these payments without anybody knowing. That's generally a very simplified way of why this was a thing for the government against WWE, is essentially tax fraud, because they weren't giving correct numbers of their profits and revenue and things, because Vince had hidden things under the table. So at the end of this, they've closed the case. Vince has to pay, I think, $400,000 as a fee, civil fee or whatever, to the SEC and to the government.
Yep.
And then he has to pay back WWE $1.3 million.
Yeah.
Which obviously is someone who just sold $7 billion
Chump change
worth
to
of
him,
stock.
most
He's
likely.
like, sure, get rid of it.
Yeah.
And then he released a statement.
Yep,
Which
I've got the
Reece
statement
can
here
say.
he released this on X earlier this week. The case is closed. Today ends nearly 3 years of investigation by different government agencies. There has been a great deal of speculation about what exactly the government was investigating and what the outcome would be. As today's resolution shows, much of that speculation was misguided and misleading. In the end, there was never anything more than minor accounting errors with regard to some personal payments that I made several years ago while I was CEO of WWE. I'm thrilled that I can now put this all behind me.
Well, you can
Well,
put
he
the
could-
financial part behind you, Vince.
To clarify, the Janelle Grant case has not been closed, and that's probably the major one
Yes.
that's been ongoing for the last couple of years now.
But from a businessman's perspective, the financial stuff is done. He's a businessman.
Yeah, he's wiping his hands.
Money is done. And I think that, look, this was a very
Vince thing to do.
very cleanly worded statement for him to say that this is the court case is now done. I can put it behind me. So if people don't read the full context to it, they're like, "Oh, it's done. Vince is fine. All right, we'll move on then." No, this is just the financial one against Vince. All the actual
sexual allegations
and stuff are still
yes
there. But what we had also heard a year or so ago when these claims that came out was that Janelle Grant's lawyers and everything put all that on hold for the government and the SEC to do this process.
Yeah.
This process is now done.
So now that
I will assume that the Janelle Grant stuff now picks back up at some point in the near future.
Look forward to seeing stuff about that in your news feed sometime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, sadly.
Well, it's sarcasm.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, but it will be there.
It will be there and we will report on it. On that note, I'd like to wrap things up here unless you've got any other
I mean, I'd love us to finish on something that's not as terrible as Vince McMahon.
What do you got? What
have I got?
Yeah.
I don't know. What do I have? What could we talk about that's not Vince?
Literally thousands of things.
Oh, so many different things. AEW, there's the Young Bucks won the tag titles in New Japan. Maybe they'll come back. Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, I'd say if they're going to win the tag titles in New Japan, they're imminently coming back in AEW.
I would think so. They'll bring the Elite back. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
I'm out, man.
Yeah.
It's been a big weekend.
It's a bit of a downer.
Been a big weekend, folks. Our boy Reece is getting married in a couple of weeks, so we've got to get him all prepared and ready for
3
that.
weeks.
3 weeks time. 1, 2, 3 weeks. Thanks, Paul Heyman. So we'll try and get some content and stuff out between now and then. Obviously, we'll probably need a weekend off.
Period. Yeah.
Really unfortunate that you get married the day before the Royal Rumble.
We're still going to be watching it though.
Yeah, but we're not going to be able to record a podcast.
Yeah, I know. You can always get someone else.
Yeah, but everyone else I probably would get for it will be at your wedding.
Yeah, fair point.
So maybe we'll see. We'll sort something out for the Royal Rumble.
Maybe we'll do a 1 week on retrospective.
Oh, we could do that.
We could.
And no one will want to watch it because they've already seen 17 Royal Rumble recap videos from everybody else.
Oh. Win somebody, lose some.
Otherwise, keep an eye on our YouTube. Make sure you give us a like and a subscribe because we do have videos coming out for some AEW content. We've already got our 2025 WWE predictions on our channel. Next week we'll check out our AEW 2025 predictions.
Yep.
There's some fun ones in there. Obviously, Ospreay winning a world title at All In is going to be one of the ones. And then we've also got some fun games for more tag team stuff.
More keep or cut.
You like the keep or cut videos? We'll keep them coming. And any other ideas you guys have for videos or any other content you want from us?
Absolutely.
Let us know. Chuck it down in the comments. Join our Discord. Have a chat to us over on there because we were happy to take any creative ideas you guys have on things to talk about.
If you see someone else doing something that entertains you and you want us to give it a shot, just let us know. Send a DM. We'll get it done for you.
Yep. And the next couple of weeks, we're obviously going to be around for the Slam Rumble when that happens.
Yep.
In
the week
February,
after the Royal Rumble.
The Slam show at Reload, we'll probably try and get to as well. And then we'll be at
Australia
AEW.
Day weekend.
AEW in Brisbane.
Shay Cassidy is confirmed for that Reload show.
Shay's confirmed.
Yes.
So we're not going to get 3 matches of Maya Maddox against Mosh Pit Bunny. I'm so excited.
She put her what I'm doing in the next couple of months up.
Yeah.
She put the Reload show.
Nice.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank God.
We'll get the Backslide Girls in Reload. That's going to be fun.
Backslide Girls.
Do you reckon we could get them to go into Mooseheads? Dressed up?
Oh, absolutely.
And go into Mooseheads and do their dance?
Oh, that's some great content.
Kingsley, Shay, do you want?
We'll slide in your DM.
Yeah, we'll sort you out.
We'll sort you out.
I know people still.
Okay. You know people, that's fine. I don't know.
And on that fantastic note.
Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Down Under the Mat podcast emanating from Madison Square Garage, sitting around the pool table of relevancy. This, Mr. Dan Danielson. I'm Roddy Reece, as always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow us on all of our social platforms. We are Down on the Mat everywhere. You can think of a social platform, we're there. We are Down on the
Are we
Mat.
on Threads?
No.
Say God.
I haven't.
I don't want to do Threads. I do
I
enough.
haven't got Threads yet. I don't get it.
I got Twitter. Twitter's fine.
You got Twitter. I take care of TikTok and Instagram. We've got YouTube. We've got a Discord.
Yeah, we're all over it.
Subscribe everywhere. Appreciate the support, and we'll see you next time down under the mat. Too sweet. Boo!